Come to the next chess game I want to show you. This time I show you the game between Monarch 1.7 versus Deep Fritz 14, and I let them play the Bogo Indian. To be exact, I let them play this opening position right here, and this arises after the moves d4, knight f6, c4, e6, knight f3, avoiding the Nimzo Indian, but now bishop b5, bishop b4, check, the Bogo Indian, bishop here and pawn here. This position I let them play, and let's see what the Monarch comes up with in this position. The Monarch, I let them play without opening book. The Monarch plays the move queen d4, threatening to take the bishop. So either knight c6 or bishop takes, but after knight c6, maybe this one takes, knight takes, bishop takes, no. So either knight c6 or bishop takes d2. So let's go with knight c6, but then a3, bishop moves back, or taking probably, bishop moves back, then knight c3, d4, knight here, threatening the pawn, bishop there, knight takes bishop, queen takes bishop, and d3. And for example, castling, bishop d3, takes, and now rook d8, something like this, probably castling, so position should be around equal, maybe slightly better for white even, so looks better for white, so that's why I would prefer bishop takes followed by knight takes, and now c5, although c5 you can just take the pawn, can't you? Takes, knight here, queen there defends the pawn. So probably not c5. d5 is also not possible, so probably just castle. And then maybe d6, d4, rook here, c6, pawn takes, bishop here, and bishop there, followed by castling, and knight here, something like this probably is possible. Now h3, bishop moves back, both sides have finished their development, and maybe now something like, I don't know, what can white play here in this position? Probably something like e5, followed by takes, knight takes, bishop takes, knight here, attacking the bishop moves all the way back, and now maybe the rook comes to the e-file, queen here doesn't do anything, so let's see what Deep Fritz comes up with after this queen a4 move. Bishop takes, we have bishop takes, so now knight takes d2 and probably knight c6 afterwards, or castling. Let's see what Fritz will play. So castling, now maybe e4 even, for threatening to go e5, d5 now, e5, knight here, bishop there, pawn takes, bishop takes, and knight here, maybe forking queen and bishop, followed by c6 or knight c3 or knight c6. So e4 is kind of the move the Monarch wants to play. Let's see, I of course let them play without book. So queen takes. What else? Pawn takes. Maybe bishop all the way back. Knight here attacks the queen, defends the pawn. Queen here threatening mate. g6, h4, h5, g4. Maybe some extreme kind of measure. For example, takes and now g6, and there is not much defense here. Now you cannot take because queen takes is gonna be mate. So this one followed by en passant. This one followed by that. And now maybe queen check. Queen check again. Have to defend everything. Rook check. Rook cannot block because of rook takes, king takes, and queen takes queen. So the king has to step up. But then the queen is hanging anyway. So this kind of attack would be very strong. So, but taking is a threat. So let's see. d5, e4, takes, e4. No, e4 immediately. Knight here. Bishop there takes, and now bishop to b1. Knight here. I'm not a fan of knight here. This knight has to stay there. So probably knight c6 now. Queen here. And f5 to block it this way. And if pawn takes en passant, then knight takes. Defending here, but then maybe g4 even, followed by g5, kicking the knight. This is kind of extreme, this kind of thing. So probably g6 now, but then this one. But now knight here, knight here, knight takes, pawn takes. Because knight takes here was threatened. Maybe b5 now. Or queen takes pawn. Queen takes pawn also possible. So probably not knight here. But maybe knight here to go in for the kill. For example, b6, knight here, king there, knight takes, king takes, and queen takes here, check, followed by mate. So there are a lot of potential attacking moves for white and how to defend this. e4 is coming, d5, e5, knight here, bishop there, and bishop back to b1. This is the move I would play. Castling e4, e4. Yeah, probably d6 is the move you should play here. So after d5 can take, but still here this knight here. But after bishop there you have this fork, so it's not so terrible. So bishop e3 is not so e5. Yeah, d6 has to be played, because otherwise something like this would happen. Bishop b1 followed by queen c2, and this is very hard to defend. So I would go for d6 followed by bishop here. Now maybe knight d2. e5, pawn takes, knight here, attacking the queen, and this comes with check, so black would lose a piece when he plays d4, e5, so probably something else, probably just castling, and now e5 from black, e5, e4, but now the bishop stands pretty stupid, so probably here instead of bishop here, bishop there, knight here, all the same, castling. No, now you can play e5, instead of castling, pawn takes, knight here attacks the pawn. And how to defend the pawn. So if queen here, then just c6, and the queen has nowhere to go, has to go back, and now you can take the pawn. So probably even here not d5 but castling, and now maybe c5 or d5 by black, probably e5 here, d4, knight here, and we have a pretty good King's Indian type of position here for black, attacking the queen. Queen goes back to c2, and now maybe bishop to d7, a3 threatening to go b4, but now a5 by white. And now, okay, the knight cannot reroute this way, so probably knight here to here and prepare f5. Now here, knight here, knight takes, pawn takes, f4 takes, bishop takes, attacking the queen. Queen moves there maybe. And then maybe something like knight here to here to here, rerouting the knight to c5. I don't know, it's an interesting position. Wow. Okay, the Monarch goes all in, not for this normal kind of stuff. The Monarch goes rook h to g1 here after e4, d6, rook h to g1, going g5, g4, so knight here, probably knight to d7 or knight to c6, g4, e5, g5, and e4. Phew. Something like this works. Knight here, queen goes back there probably to be able to switch here, switch round. Now f6 takes, knight here, trying to come in here, pawn takes, queen here. I don't know, it looks, wait, queen here takes, queen takes, rook here, and black cannot defends, so the knight has to move backwards. Knight here, probably to let the queen go here, and then, okay, we have to move knight c6, not knight d7, knight c6. Yeah, now following up with g4. The Monarch is really playing interesting chess here. g4, very innovative. But yeah, after all, it's creating weaknesses, and Fritz is a very strong engine, so probably now e5 after g4. And then d5, knight here, pawn here, knight here, jumping into the c5, so probably this move. But now knight here, queen there, and pawn here, defending against this, so probably not a3, but probably queenside castling. Now knight here and queen there. Phew. This looks kind of interesting, this position. Right here, followed by f5. Taking en passant. Rook takes. Maybe. But I don't see an attack here for white. We have to move g4, now e5, d5 probably. g4 is very, rook g1 followed by g4 is very aggressive by the Monarch. So let's see both evaluations right there. Fritz thinks it's better and the Monarch thinks it's equal. For human perspective, yeah, this position should be around equal, with chances for both sides. But for engines, I think Deep Fritz just crushes this kind of stuff. Castling queenside. Rook takes. Maybe knight here to f5. But then rook there. No, rook there is not possible. Queen there. What to play? f6. Probably because queen here. Then you give up a pawn, kind of. But then the knight comes in here. You cannot take the knight because then the rook would hang. And this is threatened twice. So rook here, knight takes there. And you kind of threaten a discovery, so king here is the only move. Because if you take the knight, then queen takes is gonna be checkmate. So you kind of have to go there. And now white got the pawn back with pretty good play. So g5, yeah, we are in this line. Knight d7 now. Let's see. We don't have this. We have this immediately, but then knight here, knight here, knight there, and knight here, and we are. Yeah, it's basically the same position. Knight d7 has to be played. I don't know. Maybe even knight here. Knight here to here is possible. But let's see. Either knight here and to here. If the pawn moves, yeah, this is the move Fritz choose. And now d5 probably. Followed by knight c5. Queen a3 I will play. And knight to d7 or knight here. Knight here looks also kind of interesting. Threatening this fork. So rook here. Or castling. Castling is also possible. And now you have two beautiful knights right there. Kind of play f5. Taking en passant. Queen takes. Now what? Yeah, black's position looks awesome. Knight here probably. Queen takes. Queen here. Queen takes. Rook takes. Knight takes here with check. King here, and black is up 2 pawns, so this may not work that good. Takes. What now? Maybe h4, h5, h6. h4. Bishop there. h5. Now h6 by black. Kind of prevent any stuff here. And bishop e2. b6, just to be able to move the rook. Maybe even bishop here. No. Maybe even bishop there. Takes. Followed by knight here, check. Bishop takes the other knight, checks, and then you have some discovery. I don't know if this works. What is black's response? The knight hasn't got that much squares. Probably knight... No, if the knight moves then the other knight hangs. So the knight has to stay there. I don't know, maybe something like this even works here. h4, knight here, check, bishop takes, knight takes, king here, knight here, check. Well, this leads to mate. If king here, then queen to c2 is mate. If here, then check. And it's even worse than losing the queen. This is a double check. King here, giving back the queen. It doesn't really matter with what you take. Let's say knight takes, and then is here a smothered mate. So, let's see. Okay, the queen doesn't go to a3. The queen goes to c2 here in this line. But this is kind of interesting. No, not here. h4, and now bishop to f5. This is really interesting stuff. Takes, and I don't see a defense here. So let's see, with knight here, queen c2, and now knight b5 I will play. Where does the queen go? Queen has to keep an eye on this square, I think. So probably queen here. And then even knight there. f5, a3, takes, knight here, check, no. If knight b5, if knight b4, queen here, then I don't know, a3 is coming. a3 is coming, and it's hitting hard. Yeah, we have this knight b4. a3 is coming. What to do against a3? f4, f3. Takes. a3, knight hovel. No, you don't even have to move the knight. Okay, you can just take here, because if takes here, then takes there, and now the queen is under attack and the rook, so a3 is not a threat here. So probably queen b1 here. So now a3 is a threat. f5 anyway. And we have queen b1. f5 anyway. a3. Knight here. Because now it was a threat. Pawn takes. Bishop takes, attacking the queen. The queen goes there, let's say. Doesn't really matter, this check comes anyway. Takes. Black seems pretty busted, though. Takes. Let's say g6. You just ignore this, play the knight here, takes, and now maybe, and now what for white? Now what? Black's position looks awesome. Here, there's nothing to play for white. Maybe you can kick with b5. Takes, rook takes, queen takes, knight here, knight takes, bishop takes, knight here attacking the bishop, but maybe even some sacrifice. With queen here, check. It's close, but I don't see it working. Right here, bishop there. Okay, at least you cannot push the e-pawn, because this is gonna be mate. Okay, we have to move f5. Very interesting. I would have played exactly the same moves as Fritz. So f5, a3. No, we don't have a3. I would have played a3. But we have g takes, and now maybe queen takes f6, so the knight cannot move. This queen b8 looks pretty terrible. But now maybe a6. Knight here attacking the rook, knight takes, queen takes there, threatening mate. So rook here, defending. But then knight here check. No, knight here check doesn't work, because the queen is also on that square. Oh wait, knight here, no. You just take with the knight immediately. Maybe bishop there. Yeah, this looks crushing to me. This looks crushing. If takes, then takes, king here, takes there. This looks awesome. So takes, maybe taking here immediately, followed by well, then the rook in the rook here hangs. White's position seems to fall apart. a6 is not a good move here. You just sacrifice the knight. So okay, we have a move here. We don't have 6. We have bishop here defending the knight. Now what? Knight b4, a6 is calculated. Wow. Reverse gear by Fritz. Reverse gear by Fritz. Okay, let's again see both evaluations. Monarch 1.7 thinks it's equal, and Deep Fritz 14 thinks it's much better for black, and I also think it's much better for black. But let's see how to make progress. p3 is what the Monarch is calculating. Where is the knight heading to? Yeah, we have to move b3. What? Queen f4? Queen f4 now, threatening the pawn here on a2. So maybe h4. Yeah, also this pawn might be threatened. So, but knight takes, queen takes. It's kind of holding. It's kind of holding. Bishop here maybe. Pawn takes and d5. Is the knight going? The knight maybe goes in here. Now maybe rook takes to attack this pawn. But then knight takes defending. Rook here. It's close though. It's very close. It's very close of smashing through. If takes, then rook takes, king takes, queen here, check. If king here, then the rook falls, so the king has to go up. Then knight here, or even here. Yeah, knight here, check. Driving the knight, this square. I don't know, maybe there are some sacrifices possible. Okay, but we don't have this move. We have the move rook here. And now bishop g4, this was the idea. Threatening the knight. Now the Monarch is calculating a3. Well, this is a very interesting game. Very interesting game. The Monarch, always when the Monarch plays, those are very interesting games, I have to say. Have to say that. If a3 here, then probably bishop takes, rook takes. If rook takes, I wouldn't play rook takes because then this pawn is gonna fall. Rook takes, knight here. Yeah, but this knight here on a6, I don't know, I would have played something else if I were Fritz. Probably Stockfish also would have played something else. This position seems pretty busted. Check. King here. Queen takes, knight takes, check, knight goes back. Here, forking. Have to take with the king. Now this one, maybe followed by that one. Trying to fork again. So black is currently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Black is currently 2 pawns up. So this is not what white is aiming for. So probably now knight takes bishop, not queen takes. Yeah, we have to move a3. And now bishop h5 is calculated. a3, bishop h5, b4, takes, knight takes, rook takes, queen takes, here check. Have to go somewhere. For example here. Then takes, rook takes. It's close. It's very, very close. It's very close. Taking here. How is the situation? White is currently up a piece, but... Oh, wait, what? Bishop here loses due to this fork. Forking king and queen. But what else to do? Okay, you kind of have to block with the knight. But then bishop takes, rook takes, queen takes, knight takes, queen, knight here, check. King goes somewhere and knight takes here, followed by knight here, and black is again up in material. One pawn and the exchange, but we have something different. After this we have the move knight here. Now b4. At least I will play b4. Okay, we have the move h3. Not b4, h3, but the bishop wanted to go there anyway, to h5. There are a lot of options. Probably now b4. Pawn takes, rook takes, rook takes. Yeah, but now you don't have this tactics. Sacrificing the knight, this was a really great variation. Here though I showed. Bishop h5, b5, takes, check. Knight b1, bishop takes, rook takes, queen takes. This kind of stuff was awesome, really. Was an awesome variation. But okay. You have to move knight b8. Now move h3, bishop to h6, h5. And now what? Yeah, white has no moves actually. And the knight is slowly but surely heading towards f6 to add more pressure to this pawn right here. The bishop also coming here. And how to defend this pawn. What are white's ideas? So probably b4, queen c2 is calculated. Knight here, b4 doesn't work now because the rook is en prise, so not b4. But what to do? What to do here? Knight here, maybe to here. Then bishop takes, knight takes, queen here, check. King here, and is there a mate? No, but you can take the rook. Okay, so this also doesn't work. Knight g5 doesn't work. Knight d2 now. Very nice remaneuvering by Fritz, and let's again see both evaluations. I think the Monarch kind of realizes that his position is lost now. No, he still thinks it's equal, and Fritz thinks it's winning for black. And I don't see how to defend the e-pawn. Then I can also come to b6. No, but from b6 it does probably nothing. So yeah, let's see. I will smoke a cigarette now. Knight b8 to d7 is the plan. I will smoke a cigarette while commentating on this game. Very interesting game. Monarch versus Fritz. 14. Okay, we have to move knight to b7. Knight to d7, sorry. So the Monarch is calculating rook here to defend the pawn, but then knight here, and what to do again about this pawn. takes. Yeah, if bishop here, then taking there anyway. Bishop takes, no, knight takes, and then you have queen takes. So probably bishop here, and now what? Now how to defend this pawn? Yeah, white seems to fall apart here. Let's see, we have to move rook g2. Maybe even taking there, this is what Fritz is calculating. Taking here, if knight takes, then knight takes here, winning a pawn, so bishop takes. And now what? Now what to do for black? It's not that obvious. Knight here. Knight to f6 probably. Knight to f6. 1 to 3, 1 to 3, so it's kind of holding, everything holds together. But now maybe queen here, threatening this pawn. But then bishop there, threatening a check right here, defending this pawn. No, but then this pawn is hanging, so the bishop can't move. And if the rook goes back, then maybe some sacrifice here. Yeah, probably rook takes, so that you can still defend this pawn. But then after this pawn is going to fall. No, it isn't. Rook here still holds the balance. But then, I don't know, queen here. Threatening to go to h2, to h1, check, winning the rook on a1. But this is all speculative. Yeah, bishop takes, and now a4. Okay, now we have to move a4. What about a5? Then knight here. Okay, this is awesome play. This is awesome play. And now play on both sides of the board. This a4 is just crushing. B takes a4 has to be played. B takes a4. Because this knight here is just crushing. If you go here, knight here threatens to take away the defender of the bishop and threatens the rook. And if you take there, then taking the bishop, threatening the rook and the knight. So you kind of have to take it. And then rook takes, just rook takes. And look at this position, it's awesome. White is completely on the defensive. And black can do whatever it wants. Okay, but how to continue now? Maybe the rook switches over. Or knight b6, all the same. Yeah, I think it's lost here after rook takes. But Fritz isn't even bothering about this. Fritz just plays this move. Now we have 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 3. So This pawn doesn't go anywhere. Very interesting game. Very nice play by Fritz. Let's see, knight f6. Also prevents rook g5, g4, attacking the queen. Well, although rook g4, there is always queen here, threatening some check on the back rank. So it seems to be over for black, but I don't quite see a win here. But there will be some sacrifices, I guess. So very nice Pogo Indian, very nice Pogo Indian. Defense here from black. This is how you should play the Pogo Indian. Let's again see both evaluations. Equal, the Monarch says it's equal, and Fritz says it's better for, much better for black. And I kind of believe in Fritz. So Monarch probably castling here. Then rook takes. And king here to defend the pawn. But then rook here. Queen there, but this loses the other pawn. Oh, it looks so lost. It looks so lost for white. Black is all over the place here. Just look at how nicely placed all the pieces are. So we have to move rook b1 instead of castling. And now rook takes a4, threatening this pawn. Rook b takes, and now here maybe a little tactic. Rook takes here is what the Monarch calculates. Then just rook takes here. Rook takes there, rook takes there, knight takes there, queen takes there. Rook here. Now everything falls apart. Knight takes here. This is a goner. This position is just a goner. Whoa, wait a bit. This backfires. Check, check, and mate. So you have to be careful. The Monarch is not stupid. So takes. Rook takes b7 is... takes. Rook takes here. Rook takes here. Maybe rook here check. Takes. No, not taking there. Taking there with check, but then the king runs away. Okay, this doesn't work. So rook takes here. Still equal on pawns. Rook takes b7 is a very interesting move. Rook takes b7. Rook here. Threatening this pawn, so probably not rook takes pawn here. Yeah, but rook takes a3, rook takes c7. Yeah, but then maybe knight back here, defense against the mate, and attacks the rook. So where is the rook going? Probably here. This is the only square for the rook. And then rook takes bishop, knight takes, queen takes, rook here, knight here, check, king here, queen there, check, and winning the rook after all, or even better, is to mate the guy with this move. So probably something like this. So You cannot take the knight, but you can also not go backwards, because this check is also leading to mate. You kind of have to go there, unless you want to get mated. But then the queen comes in here. Check. Yeah, well, anyway, I don't have to analyze this, because the rook coming here, losing the queen with check. King takes, knight here, check. King anywhere, and king there. And now a rook against a queen and two knights is just lost. But okay, b3 is also defending against all of that, and all the threats are still there. So b3, not b3, g6. Yeah, now you have to give up the exchange. Otherwise this knight coming in here is pretty deadly. So we have just analyzed this. So rook takes c5, pawn takes c5. And yeah, now I think even the Monarch thinks it's dead lost. Yeah, it's dead. It's dead. Black is winning here. In nearly all variations. Also the rook coming in here. So there are two threats. Rook here, check. And rook there. So this is kind of awesome. D takes c5. There is nothing now to play for. The Monarch, king e2, he is thinking, will save him. King e2. Or rook g3 again. But there is no saving anymore. Rook here, check. King there. Knight here attacking the rook. If bishop takes, then queen takes here, check. King here, only move. Okay, I now see the mate. The mate is right around the corner. Check here. King has to go back. And rook here, checkmate. So rook g3, rook a8, check. And knight h5 is crushing. Takes. Queen d4 and checkmate. This is also a nice mate, sacrificing a piece there. And if you go back with the rook, then what? The bishop is kind of annoying. Bishop is kind of annoying. Where's the queen going? Maybe here. Okay, we don't have this. We have rook to a8. Rook to a8. Completely controlling the a file now. So play on both sides of the board. White's king is still in the center, so what has he played? The Monarch played the move d3. Now this one. Queen d3. Now maybe rook takes, queen takes, rook here check. Or just more simple and much stronger, this move right here. It's right around the corner and it's awesome. The king cannot go forward, so the queen either here or here. No, here, most probably. No, but then maybe rook here. Knight here, rook there, queen there, rook there, bishop there, and queen takes here, check. Yeah, well, it's dead lost. White just gave up the queen. Okay, now I don't have to analyze this anymore. It was a nice game here. Nice little try by the Monarch here at the end with this rook takes b7. But just rook takes here, and yeah, this is just a goner. Yeah, okay, this was the only chance. Now there is no way of defending against the mate. At least, okay, queen here. Okay, I think I see a mate. Rook there, bishop there. Okay, the Monarch resigned the game. So let's see how Fritz 14 did it. We have this kind of moves. This was the opening position I gave them. Now queen a5, a4, knight takes castling, e4. And now we had some really good lines with d5 and the bishop going back to b1 and very nice attacking chances for white. But d6 is just a good move to stop all that. And rook g1, very interesting, but I don't think it's a good move. I don't think it's a good idea. Probably it's a good move, but you have to follow up with castling at some point. And these knights are just awesome. Okay, the knight hoveling back, rerouting to f6. This is nice, and this is also a nice move. a5, a4 here, threatening knight b3. So you have to take it. And now knight here. This pawn doesn't go anywhere. Rook here, rook takes, very nice tactic by the Monarch. Rook takes here, and just b6, at g6, stopping everything. Rook takes knight, because, yeah, it's lost anyway. What else to play? If rook here, then knight here attacking the rook. And you cannot take the bishop. The knight, because of queen takes here, checkmate, followed by checkmate. I'll show you. Check, check, check. Also the rook is hanging now, but this is just better. Check. And is there a mate? Check. Well, white loses all his pieces with check, so this kind of doesn't work. So knight here, maybe rook goes back, but now rook takes here, knight takes, queen takes, threatening this check and threatening the rook. So if the rook moves back, then we have this check, king has to go there, and then queen check, followed by taking the rook. And if you take the knight, then this is gonna be checkmate. So that's why the Monarch gave up his good knight, his good rook, and plays the move rook here. But then just, yeah, this is just over. If queen here, to avoid losing the queen, it doesn't help. It loses the queen anyway, because the king has nowhere to go. You can put the knight in front, but the queen is covering this square, so here you lose everything. You just lose everything. Now maybe rook takes even. It doesn't matter. It doesn't, but then rook takes, okay? So probably not rook takes here, but just give this check. And We don't have to analyze this, it's just a queen up. And queen against the rook. So this is also lost. So yeah, very nice game. And here it was over, because here check, only move is to go there, check, only move is to go there. Now what? Yeah, now you can just take the bishop, threatening the knight and the pawn right here. So probably rook there, and then the knight falls. And we don't have to analyze this either. It's just lost. It was a great game. I want to show it to you from the beginning again. So let's see. Wait, d4. This is like the opening I gave them. This was the opening position I gave them. And queen a4 was the first move calculated. And now this is just awesome play by Deep Fritz. 14. Very nice knights. Very nice attack here. Really very nice. Play on both sides of the board. This is just an awesome move. Awesome move. Takes, knight f6, rook here takes. Yeah, it's just awesome. It's really awesome. And here, yeah, here Monarch 1.7 resigned the game. So thanks for watching and see you next time. Ciao.